shocking conditions in the Russian-occupied city of Mariupol. As officials warn of the risk of cholera, we'll talk to the World Health Organization's representative in Ukraine. Ukrainian officials say humanitarian conditions in the city of Mariupol are getting worse under the current Russian occupation, and people there are at risk of diseases like cholera. The exiled deputy mayor of the southern port city says bodies are still being discovered in the ruins. There's a shortage of doctors, and food and water are in short supply. Our correspondent Nick Beak, who's in Kyiv, has been monitoring the situation in Mariupol.
Well, it's really desperate if you listen to some of the people we've been speaking to today. There was one woman who we managed to make contact with, and she explained that her mother left the city about a week ago, and she left behind a city of corpses. She said that she had friends who had died there, and they simply weren't being buried. This is a place where medicine's in very short supply. A lot of doctors and nurses are not able to treat people. And also, linked to this warning we hear today about a possible widespread cholera outbreak, getting running water is really difficult, and that is said to be because a lot of the pipes have been hit by the intense Russian shelling. So it's a really bleak picture that's painted of life in the city. About 100,000 people are said to remain there, and of course the accusation levelled at the Russians is that they've come in and they now cannot provide just the most basic of services to the Ukrainian people. And of course these are people the Russians claim they've come in to liberate and make their lives better.
Dr. Harno Habricht is the World Health Organization's representative in Ukraine. He says the WHO has been on alert for cholera in Mariupol, but hasn't detected it yet.
What we know in Mariupol that the situation is difficult for many, also due to the drinking water, sewage system, as well the availability of the health services. So that's why we also advocate for humanitarian corridors and to ensure that the medicines and other materials can reach to civilians. In the current situation, WHO has assessed the risk for cholera already very high at the end of April. As of today, we don't have any signals for cholera, but we need to do everything to be prepared. We have prepared also public health service or how to manage the surveillance. So we are doing all to be prepared, but as of today, we don't have yet any signal. One of the matters that makes us worried is access to medicines, especially in those parts where the fighting goes on. We see that every second person is saying they have difficulties to access the medicines, be it for heart diseases, hypertension, as well the painkillers, as well the antibiotics. The situation is better in other parts of the country where every third person has difficulty on access to medicine. But we see that the health system is really under stress, while at the same time there are places where COVID vaccination is scaled up, regular vaccination programs are scaled up. Tomorrow I'm going to Kiev Oblast, seeing the programs of primary care which are ensuring access to medicines. So while one part of the country where the heavy fighting goes on, civilians are in a difficult situation. In other parts of the country, the health services are aiming to catch up. What is important is that we ensure proper burial, we assure that all the dead bodies are found, because there are risks for infectious diseases and others. So this is a particularly important area where more needs to be done as well for the public health reasons.